If what I'm about to show you doesn't blow your mind, you shouldn't be an investor or specifically buying individual stocks, because we need to talk about Nvidia earnings. I have never seen anything like this, considering you go back an odd 6-8 months ago, like everyone was like short Nvidia's a bubble, it's overvalued. Hell, that's what I was even saying. But these earnings, AI, cloud computing, this trend has taken off so damn drastically that the revenue growth is unlike, and the margins are unlike any business right now that sits on the S&P top 10. Damn, Nvidia right now has the real potential to become the biggest player and beat Amazon out potentially in market cap value if this keeps up. The question is how long are people going to keep buying, these crazy chips to continue to push cloud and AI? Like, I mean, we'll talk about the comparables with the crypto bubble when it burst, and if AI is a bubble, and how many chips can people order before everyone's kind of reached max capacity. I really don't know. But taking a look right now, Nvidia has been hovering around $500 a share. It has actually been pulling back. If we just take a look, if I scroll down, you can see Nvidia after hours is sitting around 492, and I think this is just because it's getting overbought. I mean, these earnings were definitely just for this price, because as mentioned, a company trading for 120 times multiple doesn't make any damn sense. Like, that's a bubble, it's overvalued, but it's not when the company's growing at what we're about to see is 200% year over year growth. I mean, that number cuts in half very quickly when you take a look at some of these numbers. But let's zoom out first and talk about this kind of phase that Nvidia's gone through, because leading up to this growth of 2022 coming out of the pandemic, this company saw gaming exploding. Everybody was at home doing Zoom meetings. Everybody needed new computers, buying graphics cards, doing crypto mining. And back here, if you listen to the CEO, that's all he was talking about was the future of crypto and how crypto mining was their biggest, advocate for sales. Like, it was nuts at how many people were building massive shipping containers. You could buy shipping containers full of graphics cards that were ready to mine crypto. Now, nobody seems to care as much, and obviously people stopped doing that as crypto retraced and the bubble kind of burst there, and it dropped 65%. At this point, people were claiming that Nvidia was insanely overvalued, and it reflected in their revenue. I mean, the revenue started to really decline, and people were like, okay, like, we're coming to a tamer market. There's fear. The interest rate cycle is coming into play. But then what happened? ChatGPT, man. When that was like the insanity, the match that got thrown into the fire that lit us into a brand new era of technology and really just showcased what AI was capable of. Even though we had self-driving and some of those other metrics, nothing could really take by storm what ChatGPT did, because now we know it's not just images, it's text, it's a whole variety of editing, like music creation and video creation, and everyone and their grandmother now needs the most advanced computers, and that includes big tech. Nvidia is basically selling a business to business model right now. Like, they're selling their chips not to me or you, and I can say that confidently because me or you are not spending $49,000. And here's one of these H100 chips they're selling that literally sold just a couple days ago for almost $50,000. It is Amazon, it is Google, it is Tesla, it is Apple that are likely loading the crap out of these cards to build out data centers, to build out, these computers that are doing these AI models. And that's where we got this last quarter earnings where the stock just absolutely exploded. And now let's take a look at this quarter, because that was just from last quarter. And these numbers, I've never seen anything like this in my life. And keep in mind right now, Nvidia's trading for about a $1.2 trillion market cap, and it is really justifying its market cap here. They had a record revenue of $18.12 billion, up 34% just from last quarter. Keep that in mind, just from last quarter, but up 206% from a year ago. You will not find a business that is this large, that is growing at this scale. And it in my opinion, it's a buying opportunity. If it grows like this and continues to for even the next year, it's a buying opportunity. Like, I can't get over it. Record data center revenue of $14.5 billion, up 41% just from last quarter, and 279% from a year ago. So let's just break this down. We're going to take a look at a few metrics here because they are unrivaled by any S&P top 10 company, even Meta, even Google, Apple, Microsoft, none of them can come close to this. So their revenue, if you take a look here, just absolutely jaw-dropping at that $18.1 billion. Their gross margin from that revenue is 74%. So for every $100 of product they're moving, they're keeping 74 damn dollars. Like I just can't wrap my head around it. It's nuts how they're completely controlling the supply and demand metrics of this product. Now their operating expenses come into play, and their operating income was about 10.4 billion, which is still ridiculous, with diluted earnings at $3.71 from this time last year when it was only like what, 27 cents. And let's just read some of the highlights, and I'm going to break down their balance sheet, which gets even nuttier. Like, I don't even think many of the major tech companies have a balance sheet like this either. But if we just read into this, their third quarter revenue, yes, was absolutely bonkers. They announced the Nvidia H200 now, which doesn't exist yet. I haven't been able to see them selling anywhere. They're probably just a new product that they're just starting to sell. Their cloud platform, their new A3 assistants powered by Nvidia H100 Tensor Core. Like, they're building their own. Like, Nvidia's renting out. I think I told you this. You can rent Nvidia's cloud computing platform to do your AI modeling, and I think they charge like 20 or 30 grand a month or something, just ridiculous, like something just groundbreakingly ridiculous. Microsoft Azure will be offering customers access to the Nvidia Omniverse cloud services for accelerating automotive digitalization, as well as new instances featuring the NVL H100 Tensor Core. So there's clearly a good partnership with Microsoft. They have Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. They partner with a range of leading companies in AI initiatives, Dropbox, Foxconn. Like, every company needs Nvidia right now. This is I just can't get over how much my mind has shifted on this company. I mean, it's just nuts. Gaming, obviously not as revolutionary here, but even still, third quarter, revenue was 2.86 billion, which is up 15% from the previous quarter and 81% from a year ago. So gaming is still coming back when it comes to Nvidia. And I think that again comes into the AI modeling, because I think gaming right now is going through a major jump. I mean, you look at professional visualization, third quarter revenue was 416 million, up 10%, but 108% from a year ago. And automotive is kind of the most heartbreaking here, because automotive is going through a recessionary environment right now, and you see it with companies like Tesla. So third quarter revenue was only 261 million, which was up 3% from the previous quarter and only 4% from a year ago. I think automotive doesn't matter, self-driving, none of that seems to matter right now with the amount of pain that it's going into the margins of companies like Tesla, let alone all the other automakers, right? But let's talk about the balance sheet here real quick, because this is just mind-boggling to me. We've talked about gross profit. Like, again, you're 74%. There's no S&P top 10 company that's pulling that kind of gross profit. Just your margins are nuts. I mean, take a look at assets here. This company's sitting on $32 billion in just current assets, $54 billion in total assets, with 18 of that being pure cash. Take a look at their total liabilities, just total, not current, total. Almost 21 billion in total liabilities. They have enough cash right now to basically pay off and eliminate their entire debt. This is the utmost goldmine cash machine business that I think has ever existed, literally in the last decade, and didn't come into fruition until literally the last 6 months. Nobody could have seen this coming. Nvidia was a clear bubble and a short coming out of the crypto bust, and AI revitalized this company in a way. So the real question at this point then is, how long can this persist? Because eventually we're going to reach some kind of max capacity with cloud computing, where we're going to reach parity. But like, basically Amazon, when it comes to e-commerce hasn't reached parity yet. It is still growing even in a recessionary environment. And I just don't know how long business to business is going to continue to keep gobbling these up at these insanely expensive prices. Like, it'll inevitably come to a cooling and reach parity, and prices will have to come down. I mean, the same thing happened through the crypto bubble thing here, right? The question is if you buy the stock today and after a 200% revenue growth and, crazy just profit explosion, I'd have to run the math to see what the PE drops to, because I think it drops by more than over half at this point. If they can just do that for a year or two, I mean, you're probably buying a favorable business model right now at a reasonable value, which is something you wouldn't have heard me say, again, even 6 damn months ago. So my jaw's hitting the floor here. I don't know what to say about it, but you need to own growth, man. You have to have growth in your portfolio. If you're not buying the S&P and you're buying individual stocks and you think dividends are the end-all be-all, I mean, this is a proven example of why you should probably own some Qs, or at least have exposure to this through the S&P, because whoo, baby, I would not be surprised if Nvidia starts competing at some point. If it keeps this up, it will be competing potentially for the largest market cap company. It could severely get there if it keeps up these margins. I just can't get over how ridiculous that is. I'd love to know what you think about it in that comment section below.